Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Cardano and its native token ADA, the strongest racehorse. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember, if you want to earn interest on your ADA, I would recommend joining the ITC2 stake pool. We'll have instructions on how to do that in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So a few days ago, I put out a video on ADA, and I said it's showing relative strength, okay? And occasionally I will peruse the comments. Most people are just like making fun of my hair, which is fine, or joke that I'm coming at you from jail with this type of haircut and a V-neck. But I will say there are some people that I think misunderstand what it means to show relative strength. So it wasn't that it was necessarily showing immediate strength against the US dollar, but it was showing relative strength against other cryptocurrencies. That's the point. So when Bitcoin's going down, we know that most cryptocurrencies are going to bleed. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't use those periods to try to better understand which cryptocurrencies are showing relative strength against other cryptocurrencies. So the point of that video was to show you guys that, hey, like, look at what Cardano is doing when Bitcoin is going down. It's not bleeding nearly as much as some other cryptocurrencies. So that gives me more hope for, projections for the price of Cardano whenever things aren't so bearish by Bitcoin. Now, some people might look at Bitcoin and say, hey, Bitcoin's not bearish. What are you talking about? It's down almost 50% from the prior all-time high. So you call it what you want to call it. I mean, if you want to say like the bull broke its leg for a few weeks and it needs to get, once that's fixed, it's going to keep going up. Or you just want to say we're in a brief bear market, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. I'm just saying that, hey, Bitcoin's been bearish over the last couple of months. Therefore, a lot of the altcoin market has come back down to earth. With that said, Cardano is holding up relatively well, and that's why we said it's showing relative strength against other cryptocurrencies. And we went through some of those other cryptocurrencies to show the strength that Cardano is revealing to us when things are bearish. So you can learn about what cryptocurrencies are performing in what way when things are bearish to maybe get some insight into which ones are going to really run the race when things do get bullish again. So we look at Cardano, and from a very pragmatic point of view, I mean, look at it. The price is still higher than it was throughout most of 2021. If we do a little trick and put this little spike in an area of the chart that we can't see, I mean, look at this. Like, we're still slowly trending up right now, which is crazy considering how Bitcoin is falling. So generally speaking, altcoins bleed against their Bitcoin valuation, and a lot of times they bleed against their Ethereum valuation when Bitcoin drops. But now we spent a lot of time trying to pick out, well, which one is the racehorse? Which one is the racehorse? And when we made these videos in 2019, when ADA was like 2 cents and 3 cents, I said, hey, this is the one that you really wanna get as a hedge against Ethereum. Now, as I've said before, I don't think ADA is going to replace Ethereum. So, to all the ADA maxis out there, like, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I don't think it's going to replace Ethereum, but I do think it's going to carve out its own niche in the space. And this, this FUD about being vaporware and whatnot is just going to ultimately go away. Now, I would say that the reason people say that is because they don't see a way to use it now. But you also have to remember that it's called an investment, right? You're investing not what it is today, but what it's going to be or what they're working towards. So you're basically getting like an investment in a startup. It's like asking a shoe company why they don't sell shoes when they're still being manufactured and they haven't gotten to the point where they're selling them yet, or any type of company. Like why you could ask like Apple why it didn't sell computers before when they were still in the design process of a various model. So when you think about it, you're investing in a startup, and yeah, maybe they don't have smart contracts set for a long period of time. Maybe they don't have anyone building on it quite yet, or because of the lack of ways to build on it. But that doesn't mean that you're not, you're still investing in what it's going to be, not in what it is today. So that's the idea. Same thing goes with any cryptocurrency. Really, I mean, even if you buy Ethereum, which I mean, I own a lot of Ethereum. You're buying what you think you know it will become, not necessarily what it is today. Because I mean, even today, Ethereum's got a lot of issues that it has to work out, and I'm a huge Ethereum bull. So I would say with Cardano, as I've always said, it's my primary hedge against Ethereum, not because I think it's going to overtake Ethereum, but because it provides an alternative to Ethereum, and it's going to carve out its own niche. And you look at the price, and yeah, I know, I mean, if you bought it at 250, you're probably not feeling so hot right now. This is why we talk about risk all the time on this channel. Back in 2019, I said about 1,000 times, go back and watch the videos, that ADA is a incredible buy up to 10 cents. Might sound crazy, but back then, I was saying, okay, anything below 10 cents, super great buy. It goes, and it went from 2 cents, it went to 10 cents. Everyone was so excited it went to 10 cents. Let's look at this. So it went here, it went to 10 cents, okay? Maybe a little bit higher. Everyone's so excited, but we said, okay, anything below 10 cents, great buy. Came back down to 3 cents. And then it came back up to 7 cents. And then, everyone was super bullish. We're like, all right, it's been a great buy below 10 cents. You just don't worry about whether it's at 3 cents or 5 cents or 7 cents or 8 cents. But there's a big price difference. I mean, if you bought it at 2 cents, it goes to 8 cents, you're up 4x. It drops back down to 2 cents. I mean, this is a pretty significant drop. It's like a 75% drop. So, yes, it was difficult, but that was the stage of just mindless DCA because the whole thing was just completely undervalued. And then you go back down, you check in again one last time at around 1.7 cents, and then the rest is history. Okay, the rest is history. So, the racehorse, right? The racehorse of the market cycle. And, it's going to have down days. It's going to have periods where it drops 60%. It might even drop more than that at various phases. I mean, this was a 63% drop, a 60% drop or so. This is par for the course. Okay, par for the course for crypto. I mean, even 70% drops are par for the course. So don't even be surprised if you see stuff like that. What I am saying is that the fact that ADA is holding up this well, despite the fact that Bitcoin has been chopping sideways below the 20-week SMA, is fairly remarkable, and it shows you just how strong the project is, and hopefully it gives you a glimpse into what things could be like whenever the market is bullish. If ADA is holding up at valuations of $1.20, $1.30 when Bitcoin is bearish, then okay, well, what's it going to do when Bitcoin's bullish again? Which we will get to another bullish Bitcoin phase. I don't know if it's going to start now or if it's going to start 6 months from now. But we are going to get to another. I mean, I've told you guys what I think is going to happen, but then again, what the hell do I know? So I've told you guys that I do think that ADA will have a fairly decent market cycle. Now, do I think it's going to go to $50? No, I don't. I mean, I maybe $10. I think $10 is sort of like a. Hey, if it makes it to $10, it's going to be really hard not to be taking profits at that point. And I mean, when that time comes, which I do believe it will come, there's going to be a lot of people that don't want to hear it, but again, that's just the way the market works, right? You get these huge overvaluation periods and they come back down to earth for a few years and then they go back up. So, $50 this market cycle, very likely. Not $10, maybe. Now you're speaking my language. So we go look at ADA Bitcoin, and I mean, look at it. I mean, it's still just chilling at just under 4,000 Satoshis, which, by the way, is where it was for the last several weeks at some point during most of those weeks. I mean, look at how strong this chart looks compared to most other projects. It is standing the test of time, okay? Now, the one caveat to all this, of course, which is what people can, make people go up in arms over, is if Bitcoin goes below 30K again. If Bitcoin goes below, say, 30K, below 29K, let's say it drops to 25K or, 20K or whatever, it's going to affect Cardano's valuation. Okay, so know that. Know that it will affect Cardano's valuation. So I would say don't look at the USD valuation. Look to see if it's holding up against Bitcoin. And if it is, then hey, I mean, you're still picking a pretty solid project. So I would say, with all these projects, we know they're going to bleed when Bitcoin goes down. So if Bitcoin were to go down, we know it's going to bleed against the US dollar, but the fact that it's holding up this well against Bitcoin and Ethereum is very remarkable. Now, if you go look at the ADA Ether valuation, it's just moving back up, right? I mean, it's just moving back up. So again, great hedge against Ethereum, I also have Polkadot. Okay, I mean, let's just be honest, right? I mean, the main 5 that I hold, as you guys know, are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT. DOT has not been holding up as well. Now, that doesn't make me, that doesn't make me doubt what DOT's capable of, but it does make me notice that, hey, I mean, Cardano is performing a lot better than Polkadot is, and that is somewhat interesting. Now, as someone who runs a validator, you guys know I run my own stake pools. I have 2 of them, ITC and ITC2. My experience as someone, and I'll probably make another video on this too, but my experience as someone who sort of explored all the various networks and running validators, Cardano's is so simple, so smooth, so, just like it's so easy to set it up. You don't have to worry about like validator limits like a lot of other networks have. I mean, you don't have to worry about slashing, which has its pros and cons like a lot of other networks have. You don't have to worry about reaching a certain threshold that's like ridiculous in order to get rewards like some of the networks have. You might say, well, if you're running a validator that has like 500,000 ADA in it, then you're very unlikely to get a block, and that's true. But I mean, like 500,000 ADA is like $700,000 to $800,000, which for some small node operators that could be an issue. And by the way, I would say, check these small guys out. Check the small node operators out. They don't necessarily have the marketing platform to market it, but they have missions. They have various missions, and might be worth looking into. Okay, especially if there's a mission you want to get behind, look into it. I mean, I have mine, and I'm proud to promote mine, and I think you guys should join mine. But also, there's these small node operators, and they struggle sometimes, right? They struggle sometimes to get rewards because they can't get to those thresholds. But there's other projects that you have to have like ridiculous amounts of in, like 100 times what you need in ADA just to get rewards. And so it makes it very seamless from that perspective. So when you think about it from like a marketing perspective, what Cardano wants, or what any project would want, they want people to market it for them, right? That's the whole idea. You want people to go market it for you. And to be clear, I was talking about ADA at 2 cents, well, way before I had a node. But then, you create this ecosystem where it's so easy for people to set up validators, and then they want to go talk about the project and get people to join their validator, their stake pool. And so it just keeps things churning, right? It keeps interest alive, even when things are bearish. People are trying to get people to join their stake pools and whatnot, so they can earn interest and whatnot. So I think it's I think they're doing things right. And I mean, I know people give them flack sometimes for this whole academic perspective, but I am an academic, right? I mean, I have a PhD in nuclear engineering, and I appreciate the idea that they don't just rush to do something and then like try to patch it up later, right? I mean, that's not the way you should do it. You don't just put something out there and then, well, I mean, you could, right? A lot of people do that, and a lot of people would argue that that's the right way to do it. But I think there's better ways to do things, right? Instead of just putting something out there during the bull market and then trying to figure out how to patch it up later during the bear market, Cardano's, we're not going to do that, right? We're not going to do that. We're gonna do it right, and we're gonna spend the time to do it correctly. And instead of just throwing something out there, like instead of just starting with proof of work and then transitioning to proof of stake, instead of just starting out with some network that it takes forever to sync with and then you have to figure it out later, instead of starting out with some ridiculous limit on the validators or whatever, they're doing it the right way, and they're making sure everything's peer reviewed and the code checks out and everything's so seamless. So I know I'm getting off on a bit of a tangent here, but I just wanted to sort of reiterate. I'll probably do a separate video on this because I really want to talk about it more. I just want to reiterate why I think some of the reasons it's showing strength. Okay, so we'll probably do a separate video on it, but that was just sort of a glimpse into that. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember, we have the premium list. If you want to check that out, you can find a link to that in the description below. If you want to know how I'm navigating these markets, make sure you subscribe and go earn interest on your ADA. You can do so with the ITC2 stake pool. This is the one I would encourage you guys to join. But just know that there are some smaller pools, and there's nothing wrong with supporting some of the smaller pools, because they don't necessarily have the marketing platforms, but they have a lot of good guys in the community, and they're trying to figure out, how can they get their stake pool running. So maybe go check those out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.